Welcome to a new fragrance review. Today we're going to try Red for Men by Giorgio Beverly Hills. So we're going to look at the presentation first. The bottle, it's nice. And the cup is cheap looking though. It looked like some cheap plastic. The construction of it is not quite cheap, but it still looks cheap. There's some crest of the brand on top. Side of it looks like this, with some long neck, old, cheap atomizer. For the box is all red with that little design here. And now we're gonna try to smell it. And before I tell you what the smell on paper, I see that there's a lot of people that compare this fragrance to other fragrance, and I'm gonna tell you also what I think about this. And also, the atomizer of this is like crazy. It's like a dragon spraying perfume. It's powerful. It will be the second most powerful that like atomizer I've ever seen. The most powerful, it's Thibeault, which almost like a pressure hose or something like that. So the first thing I'm picking up, it smells a lot like Drakkar Noir in the opening. There's the same soapiness, and I would say that the ingredient they are using for the soapiness in Drakkar Noir and in Red for Men are probably the same ingredient. I would say also that soapiness disappears faster on Red for Men than on Drakkar Noir. Pick up some Artemisia, and I was thinking maybe some lemon, but I'm looking at it's not some lemon. It reminds me of lemongrass, but really looking at the note and smelling it, I see that it's the Artemisia and the Bergamot together that act a little bit as the lemongrass note. Maybe like the Basil to act within this, and it reminds me a lot of the Drakkar Noir. The opening sells a lot like the Drakkar Noir. The dry down doesn't. I pick up a little bit of an accord of Oakmoss, leather, and Caraway. Pick up a little bit of Thyme, but not so much. And that's about it. On my skin, what I'm picking up, it's that little vibe that I'm telling you. Thyme is more present and Caraway is more present too. The soapiness and the little the soapiness disappears fast, and the little mix that smells like Drakkar Noir is not as present, and it disappears fast. The Artemisia is really, really present. The Caraway and the Thyme in the opening. And the Bergamot is not quite present and doesn't give me so much of a lemongrass feel on my skin. Then as the fragrance keep going, what I'm getting, it's mostly Oakmoss and leather that are coming out, and the other notes that are disappearing. And the leather note in this fragrance reminds me a lot of Polo by Ralph Lauren. And I would even say that the note, the ingredient that they're putting, is probably the same ingredient in both fragrances. I get also some woodiness, some cedar through the fragrance. I see that some people compared it to Yatagan by Caro, and at some point it does have some similarity. I would say the heart notes remind me a lot of Yatagan. And if I could describe it just with fragrance, it has the opening of Drakkar Noir that turned into a little bit of a Drakkar Noirish Yatagan, with the note, the leather note specifically of Polo by Ralph Lauren that becomes kind of his own thing. Some woodiness, Oakmoss, and leather toward the end. Projection is good, little bubble around you. Longevity is great with this fragrance, 7 to 12 hours. I think it lasts 8, 9 hours, something like that in my skin. So the whole day. Also, this fragrance is really cheap, which is nice. And for the complete note breakdown, top notes are Artemisia, Basil, Caraway, and Bergamot. Heart notes are Carnation, Geranium, Juniper berry, Rose, Thyme, Jasmine. And the base note are leather, Oakmoss, Amber, Patchouli, and Cedar. And where I would see this fragrance is as a business fragrance. The best place for it is a business fragrance. It has leather, it has the classic 80s vibe. Smells great, smells powerful. It's pretty much what you want to smell as with a business fragrance. I don't think it could be a good fragrance for dating purposes as a seductive fragrance. It's an old school fragrance. It will probably smell dated to a lot of people, and if you can pull off old fragrance, it won't smell dated on you, but still it's not the usual 1 million or stuff like that kind of fragrance that the woman will like. It's not what it is. In summer winter spectrum, I would say it's pretty much in between. Could be okay for winter. It will probably not project quite well. People would be able to smell it. Leather, Oakmoss, and all the those kind of note, the woodiness. It's nice for winter. And in summer, project a lot, so you'll probably have to put less. The notes like Basil, Artemisia are nice notes for summer, so it could be good also for summer. You just have to put less sprays, should be good. Especially when one of these spray count as 3 of another fragrance with the power of the atomizer. And as an everyday fragrance, if you're the kind of person that like old school fragrance, by old school I mean 70s and 80s fragrance, mostly 80s in fact, that's a nice fragrance for you, and that's gonna be a good everyday fragrance for you for all the reason, its price, and the nice smell it has. If you're not into those fragrance, it might be hard to pull it off for you. You might not feel confident with it. But if you like Drakkar, if you like Polo by Ralph Lauren, you should like this fragrance. Personally, I would say that I would prefer it to Drakkar Noir in winter and Drakkar Noir more in summer. And I would like to try both of them in summer, but with the smell, I know how Drakkar Noir smells nice, like a forest during summer. This one will smell probably more like old school fragrance, Oakmoss, leather. It's more of a leather fragrance than Drakkar Noir, that is more a fougère kind of fragrance. But this is just my opinion. And who I would see with this fragrance, it's someone that like things that are old school. Probably that like nostalgia, that lived around the 80s, that one that feel but still wants something that is unique and different, even though nowadays all those 80s fragrances are pretty much unique and different, but still want something in that range, something new that you want to try. This is the kind of person I would see with this fragrance. So, hope you like this video. If it's the case, well, like and share. If you try this fragrance and you have another opinion, write in the comment. I'll be really happy to hear from you. So, thanks for watching, and see you soon.